What is up, my boners? This is MrITryHard here, the nastiest commentator in all of motherfucking YouTube. How you guys been doing? I've been doing motherfucking fantastic, and today we have a gameplay of domination on that firing range. No, I'm kidding. It's not firing range, it's fucking studio, but it's a remake of firing range. This is from the new DLC, Uprising, that came out today, April the 16th, 2013, and it's a great... Okay, so I played all the maps. I actually ditched work early just to come home, download the maps, play them with my friends, try to get some gameplays for you guys for tonight. And this is something that people asked on Twitter. I asked a bunch of people on Twitter what they wanted to see, and they said a 40 and 8 LMG Diamond, by the way. LMG was what they wanted to see on Firing Range, or the remake of Firing Range Studio. Now, my opinion on this particular map, this remake of Firing Range, it's very familiar, of course, because everything is basically the same. But there are a few things that I obviously do not agree with in some of the things that they did. And I mean, this might be personal, but like, they changed all the skins. It's basically like a reskin of Firing Range, and they changed all the textures. For instance, Top Wood is now a castle. Now, what I'm curious to know, and what I think people should be testing out right now in the YouTube community, is if the surface penetration of that Top Wood or castle is actually the same surface penetration as an actual sheet of plywood, because that entire building was just plywood, and you can just shoot right through it. Like, it wasn't a big deal. Same goes for that watchtower overlooking B-Dom, right over B-Dom, that big stair, not stair, but that big ladder that like nobody goes up there. But still, that now looks like a castle. Now, I'm looking at it right now. This is like a castle right now, and I'm curious as to whether or not it has the same surface penetration. If it doesn't, if it's all just props and you know, the surface penetration is exactly the same, and I can still shoot through what I used to be able to shoot through back in the Firing Range days, then I'm totally fine with it. Then it's totally okay. I don't have a problem with it. But if they change that, then that's a problem that I think I have with the game. But whatever, it's still a beautiful map. The colors are great, the textures are great. It reminds me of that map in Black Ops 1 where it was on a golf course. It reminds me, like, the colors look as bright as that map, even though that map played like crap. But this one is actually a good map. Now, for other things that I do not like about it, and this is a small pet peeve of mine, but there were some lines of sight in Firing Range that if you were, you know, decent player, if you were good, if you tried hard, you know, you would know all these different lines of sight that were really obscure that now they killed. For instance, there were like some really GB line of sight back at ADOM where you could hide inside of a small tin thing, and if you jumped up on a box, you could look through a net, and you could look at ADOM, and nobody would ever see you through there because it was a net. It was like a netting. And first thing I did when I jumped on this game was I tried that, and now it's not a net anymore. It's a sheet of plywood or tin or something. But anyways, you can't look through it. So now they kind of killed that line of sight for me, and that sort of sucks. And I mean, there's some more out there. You know, some, like, now cars are replaced by like these wooden chariots, which, I mean, they do the same job, but the head glitch isn't as good, or the vision isn't as good, or stuff like that. So, I mean, in all honesty, this is probably like a I don't want to say it because I like this map and I'm glad that it's back, but it's a bad Firing Range, is what it is. It's like one of those things where, like, you know, they make Scary Movie 1, everyone likes it, and then they make Scary Movie 2 and everyone hates it. It's kind of the same deal. Like, they made this as a rework of Firing Range. All the diehard fans are looking forward to it, and we're like, yeah, man, Firing Range is back, and it's back. And, I mean, some of us are going to be happy with it, some of us are going to be content with it, and some of us are going to be like, yeah, you know, it's fine. But then most of us are going to be like, man, I wish I had Firing Range back. This just makes me crave Firing Range more because I kind of have a sort of fake one right now. It's like, I don't know, it's like trying to fuck a bitch who's hot, and then you're like fucking a bitch who's like kind of not as hot, but you're still doing it because it's like, you know, I still want to fuck, right? Like that's the deal that I'm getting with Firing Range. I don't know what it is. It's kind of weird and funny. Like, some of the head glitches are bad and whatever. I don't want to like go over it, but like, those are the stuff that I don't like. Now, what I do like about it is, of course, the map. It's fucking Firing Range. We all like that map. It's great. It's called Studio now, whatever. The maps are mostly they're mostly identical, whereas all of the actual, like, the routes, the buildings are in the same place. Everything is basically the same for the most part. It's just a texture, basically. They just change the cars, the chariots, stuff like that, the colors, and it's like a rehash or whatever. But everything, for the most part, is the same. Now, the colors are great. Now, this goes for all the maps, by the way. Like Magma, Vertigo, and Encore, which I have a gameplay of Encore, by the way, which is like a... It really reminds me of Stadium, which was a great map. And Encore, I think, is one of those maps. At first, I hated it, and I just played it right now and did terrible on it. But it's one of those maps that I think I'll grow around to liking it. And I say that because it's got a lot of routes. It's got a lot of different paths. I'm just saying the exact same thing over and over again. But basically, it's a lot of small tunnels, entrances to B-Dom, a lot of places overlooking it. It's one of those things that more like the more you know the map, the more it'll reward you for it, which I think is a good thing, and I think I'll grow on to liking it. Now, when it comes to Magma, God, I played Magma twice. I want to like it because I like the idea of it, but I don't. I don't. There's lava all over the place. B-Dom is in a ditch. It's long and it's wide. It's basically got 3 entrances, and it's just like, I don't know, it's all over the place. You think you're on ground zero, but then there's an underground part to it. So when you're really on ground zero, you're really overlooking people downwards, and it's I don't know, it's funny to me, and it feels odd. I wish Activision would go back to level games, like just have one playing field. Like, I don't want to go underground. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, every map that has an underground on it, I never liked. Like the freaking map called Underground nobody liked it. Nobody played it. It wasn't a good map. And I can't get any airstrike kills on maps I don't know for some reason. And this map I do know, and apparently I got a few earlier, but not this one. But still, that dude was terrible. But like that's one thing I hate about Activision. Like, not Activision, but Treyarch, like, they try to innovate and try different things, which is great because it can create some really, really nice maps and some really nice guns, whatever the fuck they want to create. But sometimes I think they fail. And with this whole, like, terrain that kills you stuff, and, the moving parts in terrain that kills you and all that shit, like, I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that stuff. Like, I'm not sure that's something I really, really want to get, involved with. And, of course, it's never going to be used in all this MLG stuff because it's moving parts of the map. It's not good. Let me know what you guys think for those of you who played the maps. For those of you on PS3, man, I feel bad for you guys, but I'll bring you guys some more DLC maps, Uprising, for you guys if you guys are on PS3 or on PC and you guys are missing out on this. But you know what? This whole map pack, not bad, not great. It'll keep me interested. Hope you guys enjoyed. MrITryHard. Bye, bye, and bye.